Welcome to the Light of Sirio podcast. My name is Dori Fari and I will speak with a realized spiritual master about his views on life and the topic of spirituality.
Hazur Maharaj Sant Ji, you're my Sadgurus, I bow down to you. Hazur Maharaj Sant Ji, you're my Sadgurus, I love you. Hazur Maharaj Sant Ji, you're my Sadgurus, I adore you.
So we arrived now to the fourth episode of our season 5, and this season 5 is about the personal story of Master Sirio, who is here with me in a little studio. So welcome, dear Master.
Thank you for having me. Pleasure to be here.
No, it's my pleasure and our pleasure to all of us who then listen to it, me included. And before we begin our conversation, I would like to say a few things quickly. So you can soon wait for the coming out of the new volume of Sirius magazine, which is a little bit in delay due to some unforeseen technical reasons. But anyway, you can expect it around the 5th of October. So it's just a few days delay, and we are sorry about this. But I'm sure that the content will compensate your time of waiting. And then soon after this, we are going to have the annual autumn intense spiritual meditation retreat in the Sant Bani Ashram with Master Sirio from the 27th of October for 1 week till the 1st of November. So still, if you would like to come and make your own personal experience, you can contact me through the siriopodcast@gmail.com or find further information on the siriosatsang.com website. And as I always mention, we have another podcast which is called Daily Guidance Meditation Podcast, which is only dedicated to meditation practice, and you can listen to a new episode every single day, every morning according to European time. You can listen to a guided meditation by Master Sirio from previous spiritual retreats. I think they also contain very precious teachings, so I think it's a great tool, a very precious something. So thank you very much, dear Master, that we have all this spiritual treasure from you, which was accumulated during the years.
Nothing is mine. Everything is my Sadgurus.
But anyway, we are the ones to be benefited by this, and so we are very thankful to the Sadguru power to manifest these guided meditations for us and help and support our practice. And well, if you have any questions which you would like to ask from Master Sirio, I say in advance that next season 6, will be again questions and answers, so you can send questions to me. And then let's go back to your story, dear Master. And we did stop just there in 1980, that Sant Ji was here in Italy. Then you took a really great step in your life. You decided to get married with the blessings of Sant Ji. You got married to Irena, and she came to live here with you. And you got back your license of work, and we concluded that a new beginning started in your life again. So a great new chapter started. So tell us about the beginning of this new beginning, how it was.
Beginning was very good, excellent, couldn't be any better. Because Irena was also devotee of Master Kirpal, and I conveyed to her the initiation in 1978. In winter of 1979, she went to India and she met Sant Ji. So she fell in love with Sant Ji also. So couldn't be a better companion. She met Master Kirpal and she appreciated him a lot. She had a spiritual awakening after meeting Master Kirpal. Then she got initiated. Then she went to Rajasthan and met Sant Ji, and she liked him terribly. So couldn't be a better companion in life. She was vegetarian. Very similar story to mine. So we began living together. And as I said in the beginning, I didn't even have a job. She didn't even know when she came here that I had no job and I had no money.
So how did you live?
Well, I was getting some works here around from farmers. I was helping them doing some works and they gave me some money.
Right, it's also work.
Yeah, my mother always supported me anyway. And then eventually, as I said, in springtime 1981, I got back my license, so I began doing this trading around here. Going from town to town, working all in the morning. And it was a work that I really like because I was in contact with people. People like me, and I was always very joyful, singing all the time while waiting for a client or whatever.
Well, actually, it's funny because I just mentioned to those who listen that I always feel very good, like when I go to buy flowers here. There is a very nice lady selling flowers in Rivola, and then she always mentions, oh, when he was selling at the market, then that was the best market. And then still there are some people who remember you, though it's decades ago.
Yeah. I stopped doing this work in 95, so it's 30 years almost.
Yeah.
Wow. Life really flies away. So anyway, then I began doing this work and I got good money for our living. So couldn't be any better. We were living in this beautiful place, which we liked. Although there was not electricity, there was no fridge, there was no washing machine, and no telephone.
But there was running water in the house.
But running water, yes. In summer, not so much, but yes, there was running water. Anyway, it went on like this. Then in December 1981, Nirmala was born. This girl, daughter, baby girl was born, and we decided to call her Nirmala, which means stainless. And so we became parents, and we had to take care of this newborn somebody.
Well, in December it's cold here, so it must have been a bit challenging sometimes.
Yes, quite cold, and at the time we didn't have really good ways of warming up the house. It was a stove, wooden stove, and fireplace. So yes, we could warm. I was always making good amount of wood for warming the house.
But Actually, sorry to interrupt. I was also warning myself, but what are you talking? I mean, this is, that I was born in 80 and my mentality is different. I grew up in a different world. That before, for centuries and centuries and thousands of years, babies were born and they were alive, even in the north of Europe. So it was foolish what I said.
Yeah. Many people didn't have any warming system in the house anyway, many times. Very poor people didn't, and maybe having many children, but they survived somehow. So anyway, that was the life, and so he became very busy in trying to bring up this baby the best way we could. Irena was very fanatic about diets and food. Having the best diet for this baby, no sugar, no this, no that, and we became macrobiotic at some point, follow the macrobiotic diet, very strict for 2 years. We experienced different kind of diets, always trying to get good food for this baby and for ourselves, of course, also. And anyway, beside this, let's say, outer aspect of life, there was always the inner aspect of life, which was, of course, meditation and service to the master. We always had a number of retreats here, 4, 5, 6 retreats every year. There were never many people, but there was always a good group by which we could have a good retreat, some 10, 15, 20 people, sometimes 25, like this. Because after Sant Ji came in 1980, a number of people were initiated, so 3 Satsang places started in Italy, actually 4. 1 here, 1 in Milan, 1 in Terni, and 1 in Rome. So some people would come from all these places, so there was always a good number of people to have these very intense and very blessed retreats, really. All of them were such a blessing and such an upliftment and such a strength conveying events, so that you could go on in your spiritual life with joy, with enthusiasm, and with determination.
Well, I was thinking, as you mentioned, that there were a number of people initiated, so there were always people. But I thought, well, you always were participating, so then it was very intense for you on the first place.
Yes, of course. Other people sometimes would come, sometimes wouldn't come, but I was always here, and always I was preparing the place for these people, doing all the preparations, mostly me and Irena, or mostly me, I could say, because she was busy with other things. And going to Grosseto to pick them up at the station, all these kind of things. Yes. I was doing myself. No.
I know something about it.
Now you know something also about this, what it is. So for 20 years, I did this kind of service to all these people, really taking care of this ashram without any compensation of any kind, because this ashram is 2 properties. One is my property, and one is the ashram property. So I took care of my property and the ashram property, always myself, and I never took a penny for all this service which I did for the ashram. For these people, it was normal. Sirio is there, he takes care of everything, he doesn't take any money for what he does. Very good. But I don't know how much they were really aware of this and how much they really appreciated this. For them it was normal. And then there is this idea, it's not Sirio doing anything, the master does everything.
Oh yes, there is this concept which I hear sometimes.
Yeah. So
which, I mean, in a way is true, but one has to give those 2 hands and give that time and that strength and muscles and bones to do it.
Well, I think there is no one better than you to understand what I mean to say with this. That yes, the master does everything, but he needs also a tool by which he does the thing. You can do a work and you use a tool to do the work, because if you don't use the tool, the work you don't do. And the same way the master does the work. Yes, God does everything. And when we say the master, we mean the Supreme Being does everything. But it needs instruments, tools by which he can do the work. So I was the tool here by which this ashram has been growing, has been developing, and has been taken care of.
Well, it's going over a little bit this topic a bit more on the philosophical level. Then it also means, I think, that seva is a great tool also for satsangis, because by doing seva, one becomes one with the master, because then through you, the master is performing actions. So seva is the best practice besides meditation.
Well, that's what masters always say. Sant Ji always said this. When there was lots of seva to be done and people, well, I can't do much of meditation, or I have difficulty doing the meditation because I have to work so much doing seva. Maybe when we were organizing programs for Sant Ji, and he would say, seva, it's equal to meditation. So it's another spiritual practice, by the way, by which you learn to do something selflessly. And on this path, it's really a key point. Is one of the tenets of this path. Beside meditation, bhajan singing, satsang, seva is very important. Selfless service, by which you expand your being, by which you do something without any coming back to you, anything given to you back.
So, well, it's sharing, offering, selfless. Yeah. Service.
Yes. So that's the way we expand ourselves, by doing things without any recompense, without any getting back anything. Well, selflessly, by the way.
Yeah, like you write in one of your compositions, one of your poems, that if you wish to be, or open generously your arms if you wish to be hugged, because then also when you give, then you get. Because that's another way of getting from the master all the blessings that like a wind blows through you.
Yes, of course. So anyway, for all those years I've done this, for 20 years of my life, because in the beginning I thought that this place could become a commune kind of thing, community kind of thing, because we built up that house for there was a satsangi called Paolo Puricelli. He was very devoted to the master, and he was very good friend of mine and of Irena. So he decided to move here, and in order to move here, since he had quite some money, so he decided to build this house. So I got all the permissions and all the bureaucratic things sorted out for him, and so that house was built. And in 1984 he came to live here, and in the beginning there were some people from Rome spending quite some time here. There was a girl from Grosseto who came to live here. She was called Marisa. So we were some 7-8 people more or less present most of the time here. But then I saw that conflicts were arising, like in the world. I saw that these satsangis began forming parties, one against the other. And so the atmosphere was kind of deteriorating because of this. So I thought, look, if we have to create here another situation like it is in the world, better everyone stays at his home. And you just come here for retreats and not pretend to come to live here in any way. And by I decided that people should not spend too much time here, because then unnice situations do come up, conflicts do come up, and I didn't want to have conflicts here. I wanted to have peace. So that's why I told the people, eventually I decided that people should not spend more than 15 days here, because I saw it again and again, that people would come in the beginning so grateful for everything, so appreciating everything what you did for them, and giving the chance to stay here. But by and by, they began feeling the honor of the place, and pretending, and commanding, and not taking care of the things, neglecting things, but pretending all the time.
Yes, critics come up also. Why things are like this and not like that, and should be like that.
Yes. So eventually I decided, yes, no more than 15 days.
And how did they take it, that those people who were staying here a lot, when you said this?
Maybe some of them were hurt. I don't know. But that's how it went anyway.
Well, this also shows to the listeners how strong character Master Sirio is. I always tell with my son when we talk about things and we agree that no, he's not afraid of anything. I think Master Sirio is the bravest person in the world, or anyway, in my life, the bravest person whom I have ever met.
So, but anyway, Paolo and eventually got married also. They had a baby, also girl. And in 1992, they decided to move away because his wife wanted a better situation for themselves. They had this baby and he wanted to send her to kindergarten or school, which were near to their house. So they moved to Bologna, near Bologna. They moved away. And the funny thing, I was very disappointed for this. And when I told Sant Ji that Paolo and his wife, they're moving away from here, he said, very good, let them go.
He knew.
And I thought, oh, interesting. But he was right. Better they go, because then that house became free for the guests when we had retreats. When they were there, they were occupying most of the building with their family, this family. And it was just dormitory in the back. But when they went away, then we had the kitchen, we had the dining room, we had the whole space for the guests. So retreats quality really improved a lot. So Sant Ji was right, very good that they went away.
Yeah, well, for several reasons. But I wanted to add, just to clarify, because you mentioned that Paolo had money, so he built a house, but I want to add a small detail as the vice president of the Sant Bani Ashram, that the house was paid to him. So it's not that he built a house, then he went away and left it here as a gift, but the house was paid back to him.
Well, I tell you, Sant Ji told me, if he goes away, the house stays for the ashram. You don't need to give him back the money. But I couldn't cope with this, and I didn't see it as because anyway I had love for this Paolo, and I knew that he would feel very hurt if things went this way. So I organized a meeting with all the Satsangis, and I told them, look, Paolo has moved away. He spent this much money to build up this place, so we have to give him back if you want to use this place for our use. They all agreed, so they cooperated, and in I think 1-2 years we gathered all the money and we gave him back. So I was very happy with this. Anyway, many things happened. Eventually in 1984, Sant Ji came back for a program here. Sant Ji told me, you organize another program, I come back. I was in London. I went to attend a program with Sant Ji in London. I think I went a couple of times there. So it was 1983. And Russell Perkins was there, and he told me, look, we are going to organize a program for Sant Ji next year. Do you think you can have this program again at your ashram, at your place? Because, you know, when he came the first time, Sant Ji 1980, there was nothing really organized. There was just the house ready for his use, and for people who traveled with him. And he told me, we should have a better situation if you want to have another program at your place. So I told him, look, Paolo is moving there and we are building a house for him. So that building will be there to be used. Maybe not quite finished, but we can use it. We are building a big barn in which we can have satsang and meditation. So the situation is really improving a lot. So I said, okay, then we can have this program there. And so
again, much work.
Oh yes, a lot of work.
Imagine.
We built a big barn where this building is now. Before there was this wooden barn, which was more than 100 square meters. and we just built it ourselves, ourselves Satsangis. There was a Satsang who came from the United States, Billy Weinberg. There was some Satsangis from Rome, the Strubs brothers, 2 or 3 of them that came to help, and some from Milan, like this. So we built up this barn.
Always Sirio Ji.
And of course, Sirio Ji was always the martyr of the situation. And Paolo also, of course, he was very enthusiastic at the time, so he also helped. And so we built up this big barn for satsang and meditation. Then down there we could have, I think we had some guests sleeping down there. And anyway, sometimes we had satsang also down in that house. And so the program was much better organized. There was really a jump in the quality of the organization. But of course, there was not yet electricity. And we also built toilets for the people to use down there. We built some 6, 7 of them or 8. I don't remember now the exact number, but quite a few. So it was really such a better quality work. And but I think Sant Ji came, and he had been before in New Hampshire for 11 days, I think, holding a program there, and it was raining a lot over there. So he lost his voice completely. When he arrived at the airport in Rome, he couldn't even talk because no voice whatsoever was coming out from his mouth. So it was very interesting. He's coming to Italy to give a program, and he has no voice whatsoever. So the first day he didn't give any satsang, any speech. He just sang some bhajans, he gave darshan, and then he went back to his room. And I mean, in the evening when satsang was supposed to be done. I don't remember. I think we had meditation sessions during the day, as we usually have it in the programs. And also on those occasions, we didn't say anything. We just sang some bhajans, and that's all. And then we meditated. But then some doctors were here, so they began taking care of him, giving him good medicines in order to recover this voice. And I think the second day, he was a bit better. I could talk a bit. And on the third day, he was able to give a satsang. And
finally.
Yeah. And there were people also having interviews. There were a number of people who had come from Rome, invited by the satsangis from Rome. And some young ones who really didn't know anything about the path. So they were having interview with Sant Ji, and since he didn't have much voice, they came inside, they sat there and they began telling things, asking things, and at some point he would interrupt them. He did the same with everyone. He would interrupt them and ask, "Are you initiated?" "No, I'm not." "So you know what you do? You study the teachings of the path, become vegetarian, and then ask initiation from Sirio. That's all. Chaloji. Just go." So another would come again, they would start, maybe they wrote a poem to read to him, and things like this, or questions. And after a few words or a few sentences, he would just interrupt them. "Are you initiated?" "No." "So you know what you do? You study the teachings of the path, become vegetarian, and take initiation from Sirio. That's all."
Well,
Chaloji.
You said that he could be very stern with people, cut short.
Oh, very, very, very. People have no idea how Sant Ji was. You could be like a knife cutting through your bones. So anyway, I think the second day or the third day in the morning there was initiation, and there were some 20, 25 people to be initiated. Because in the program some people came from England also. Again, there was this group from Malta coming. Some people came from France. And I think some people came from Austria also. So, this beautiful program, which was 4 days, I think. Then I took Sant Ji to Rome. We spent one night in the Strub's house in Rome, and then the next morning we went to the airport and left for India. So,
something came to my mind that we mentioned about Sant Ji, that he could be so stern, cut short with people, or as you said, that he could be like a knife cutting through your bone. And I just remembered in the previous episodes when also Chris and other people talked about him and then described like the ocean of love. And what does love really mean? Love doesn't mean that that if I really sincerely and selflessly love somebody, doesn't mean that I'm so sweet with that person, because sometimes somebody really can't stand us and so sweet with us, which is like a fake sweetness. And sometimes sometimes I give example from my own life. I think of my son, that I'm not always sweet with him, not at the least, but I always love him, and that I really feel that my love for him is like the ocean of love, endless and selfless. But sometimes I really have to be stern with him and cut short, like a knife.
Yeah, so Master is like parents. Parents love their children with all their life, with all their being, but yet they have to shape them. So sometimes I have to be very tough with them. And so that's how a master has to be. A master has to be, a master is full of love for the people who go to him and take initiation and follow his path. But these are his spiritual children, and he wants them to grow and become real human beings and not stay like, puppets, like meaningless human beings. Because that's how we are when we go to a master, and that's how most of the people are in this world anyway. That's my point of view. We may be anything we want. We may be scientists, we may be doctors, lawyers, VIP, very idiot people, but yet we are most of the time very idiot people, whether we are VIP or we are non-VIP. So we need to be shaped, to be formed into real human beings. And for this, we need teachings. We need to be taught how to become such a human being. And for this, you need sometimes to be strict, tough, and very clear with people, and not just turn around,
Well, it's very interesting dynamics, and especially the more young we are when we go to the master, then even if I look back myself, so I just only speak in my name, not to offend anybody, but I am like a totally different person, no? Like so many years passed, no? And of course, one in best case scenario gets better and better, gets more mature by time. But being on the path and being in the company of the master and absorbing his teachings is something really that is transforming your life or transforms your life. So it's a great experience, highly advised to everyone. But I was thinking of something else, and I know it's not the questions and answers series, but I just can't resist to put this question to you. May I?
Yes, why not?
So I give an example as a mother, like when I scold my son or something. Then anyway, he's always my son, and I always love him. And then probably he also gets upset at me when I am not nice with him, and sometimes I tell him things that what he doesn't like to hear, or I force him to do things which he maybe wouldn't like just a small example, like maths homework and things like this. But still he loves me, and we keep associating to each other by the force of things, that he's minor, he's my son, and I'm responsible for him. And how is it with the master and with his spiritual children? Because anyway, if we say that we come on the path, especially if we are young, but sometimes old people come on the path, but anyway, what is common with everybody now, not mentioning children, and also such young children don't get full initiation, so that those who come on the path, in let's say 95%, they are grown-up people, adults. But we say that they are the spiritual children of the master. And then, as you also said about Satsang before, when you mentioned doing seva in the ashram and people spending too much time here and criticism coming up and opinions and feeling like the owner of the situation, overtaking the situation. And so how is it in the relation of the master and his spiritual children? Which I mentioned before, like then the master is stern, cuts short, or like, and still he is the ocean of love, and I feel this infinite love for the master. I feel inspired. I feel the divine love. And but still, sometimes people get offended. They go away, or
well, how is it? It is a very complex and very delicate relation. So people like to be appreciated, people like to be recognized as something important, people like to be honored, welcome, given importance. So in the beginning, like in any relation, maybe mother and child, parents and children, it may be a romantic relation. The beginning, there is, welcoming, there is love sharing, there is trying to make the person feel at home, and always kind and gentle with people, new people coming. Then, if they keep coming, at least that's what I have seen with Sant Ji, and that's what I do actually with people myself. Most of the people of the Satsangis, they take initiation from a master, they never have a direct relationship with him. Most of them, I can say 95%. Maybe 90%. But most of them, they never have a real human relationship with the master. I've seen so many satsangis going to Rajasthan. I've seen so many satsangis attending the programs in the West with Sant Ji. So most of them, what they would do, would go attend the program, follow the program, have an interview with him, asking questions and get answers, but he never really mixed up so much with their life. He never really mingled very much with their life. If they ask personal questions about what should I do about this and about that, he always, most of the time, I translated so many interviews, and he would say, well, about this, you have to decide. So you think over as much as you wish. But then when you decide something, then stick to it and keep doing it. So he rarely gave personal advices about what to do with their life. Very rarely. He only, as far as I've seen, gave this kind of advices to his cooperators, those who were cooperating with his mission, with his work. Those who were organizing programs for him, those who were having ashrams, like myself. So to me, yes, many times he told me, don't do this, do this. Don't do it this way, do it this way. And because I had a 20 years relationship with him, and I had a lot to do with him. So in many occasions he corrected me and he told me, don't do like this, do like that, and this and that. But most of the people never experienced anything like this. So for them it was very nice. They were going to programs, they were attending the program, going for an interview, and then go back home, and that was it. So it's when you cooperate with the master. Like for yourself, for instance. You have come to live here. So most of the people don't know anything about what you experience with me in dealing daily in your life.
Better I don't say anything.
Well, you experience the best, and you experience also being educated. You experience also what it means to be
the highest and the deepest.
Directed in life. But most of the people don't know anything of this. They just come here, attend retreats. Everything nice. I'm very nice with them, very gentle, very welcoming. And they go back home and they live their life. So that's how it is for most of the so-called disciples of the Master. Most of these so-called disciples of the Master, they are not really disciples of the Master in the true sense of the word. They are they are children of the Master who somehow live their life. They don't live together with the Master. They don't cooperate with their work, really or partially, and so there is no really coming into play in their private life. They have their own private life. They choose how to live. They decide what to do with their life. If they ask me advice, I give advice when it's needed. And I don't want people to, and I saw it with Sant Ji also, he didn't want people to just depend on him for decisions. You have to learn how to decide for your life. And if you make a mistake, then you learn from that mistake. If I tell you all the time what to do, then you never learn anything. Like with your child. With a child, anyway. Up to a certain age, you keep educating this child.
Yes.
Do this, don't do that. Try to be this way and not the other way. But at some point, when they become grown up, you can't tell them anymore anything. Yes. They choose how to live their life and they go their way. The same way it's on the path. Yeah.
But does it change the intensity of transformation that happens on the path, this so-called man-making process?
Of course it does. Of course it does. A lot. Yeah. Yes, in this kind of relation, when you really cooperate with the Master, then this man-making process goes on much quicker, much more intensely, and much more effectively. And the other way, you learn from life, from the situations that come up in your life, because life is the great teacher anyway. So the Master Power orchestrates anyway the life of everybody. And people are made to go through situations by the Divine Power, which creates everything, every possible situation for our growth. So they learn not directly, let's say, from the person of the Master, but they learn from associating with this situation of growth in which the Master Power is really very active and creates situations for our growth in an indirect way. So that's how it goes. That's how the path helps us growing.
Well, also I just thought we talked quite some about karma and free will, and if there is free will or not free will, and how these situations really do appear, and also probably if also the level how we are going to be exposed to the company of the Master. It also depends on this. It's not our free will, because probably everybody gets what can receive, what can intake in life. Not everybody can how to say, like when we sit near a fire, there is a fire, and if we sit near, it's really burning hot, and maybe it's too much for some people and they have to sit more far, more distant, and as much as they can take it. So I think this also works like this, that we are not all ready and we are not all made, and we don't all arrive with this destiny into this life.
Well, I think it's meant to be anything that we go through life. In my opinion and in my experience and in my view of the world, the existence and the universe and of our life, it's very clear. I don't have any doubt that we come with a very specific destiny and we have to go through it. Whatever it is meant to be. And like in your case, if your child was not born 6 months, and when he came here, his shunt began, went out of place, and situations in life which compelled you to choose to come and live here. Otherwise, you would not choose to come and live here by your own self. It was because of situations that came into life.
Well, it was like be put on the tracks, so that was really very evident that I had no free will in this. It was just happening, everything.
So, this is what you see because it has been your experience. But mind you, it is the same with everyone in this world.
Yeah, well, maybe we are not aware. We are not all aware of this, about the situations arriving or being created around us.
So anyway.
Just, I thought because of mentioning the fire, then came into my mind also the example of the moth. There is this beautiful, I don't know from where does it come, some people say that it's Sufi or whatever story, that there are 3 moths and there is a candle, and they are so attracted by the light, and they say, oh, we love this light, and then one says, oh, I love this light so much, and goes near and feels the heat, and like almost fainting, going back, and oh, I experience the heat from near. Then the one says, oh, it's nothing, look how much I love this light, and goes near and gets a little bit burned on the wings, but then can't resist anymore and goes back, and look how I love the light. And the third one just flies into the fire and gets burned, and the one who really knows what's the love for that light is that one, because we became really one with it.
Yeah, that's how it is. So anyway, I think for this podcast what we said may be enough.
Well, because we talked about your personal life, but we didn't really go, it might seem to somebody we went far from it, but in reality no, because also as you described, what a seva you did for your masters, for the Sadguru, and how Sadguru power manifested and flew and worked through you, then it's really like this third moth. You really did expose yourself to the situation and never withdrew.
Never. From first day to this day.
So, thank you for being a great example for all of us. And then next episode, as always, comes after 2 weeks. And then, as I said, you can listen to the Daily Guidance Meditation podcast and look for the coming out of the new volume of Sirius magazine, first week of October. So thank you very much, dear Master.
You're welcome.
And now we can listen to the beautiful mantra dedicated to Masters.
Hazur Maharaj Sant Ji, you're my Sadgurus, I bow down to you. Hazur Maharaj Sant Ji, you're my Sadgurus, I love you. Hazur Maharaj